What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, and this is the limited edition Nike GX, based off the Hypervenom Phantom 3 platform, and of course made to look like the original Nike Air GX, which came out originally in 1997, with the idea behind this to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Nike's Italian Montebelluna facility, where of course they manufacture some of the more special boots, usually limited edition stuff, but going back in the day, all their high-end boots were made in Italy, including this particular limited edition pair. So of course in today's video, we're gonna go over all the details of what these are about, because while it is a Phantom 3 base, it's actually quite a bit different from a Hypervenom Phantom 3. So we'll talk about that in the video, go over all the details, as well as take a look at how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more about these, please stick around and watch the entire video. And if you're interested in a pair for yourself, while it's limited edition, they are still available. I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll actually be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. For your $300, they do come in a special box, black in color, with gloss black shields throughout the entire box. Of course, you have that logo that's on the insole as well as on the heel of the shoes, featured on the top. If you were curious about the label, here's what it looks like. It reads Hypervenom Phantom 3 GX SE, which stands for Special Edition, FG, and of course my pair is a size 9 US. And then the inside is a nice kind of semi-shiny, almost chrome finish blue, where it says Nike Football, crafted with pride in Italy since 1996. So cool little extra details. Even the paper, as you can see, features those same MB shields that you'll find on the outside of the box. They also come with a string bag, all black in color, with again more of that little shield logo throughout the entire bag itself, and then that big logo plastered right in the middle one more time. Before we talk about the specifics of the shoe, I want to clarify something because I was a little bit confused myself. You'll notice that on the logo it says established in 1996. You see it very clearly right here on the heel. As soon as the camera focuses, there it is. And you also notice this little etching right here with a leather symbol, and then in the middle you have number 20. That's because this commemorates the 20th anniversary of the Montebelluna facility in Italy. But if this was established in 1996 and it's 2017, that's 21 years, not 20. So why is this the 20th anniversary? I believe the reasoning for that is because the Nike Air GX was the first shoe to come out of the Montebelluna facility in terms of what they actually manufactured, which I believe did not happen until 1997. So that's why this is the shoe commemorating the 20th anniversary of the first shoe that they actually released, not necessarily the first year that the facility was open. Again, I don't think that it's particularly well explained, but I assume that's the reasoning for the 20th anniversary and this not being the 21st anniversary. The clear inspiration for this boot was the original 1997 Nike Air GX, which is a shoe that honestly I have no real memory of. I knew it existed, but it came out in 1997. I was born in 1993, so I would have been only like 4 or 5 years old when it was a current model. The significance to Nike right now is obviously the fact that it was the first boot that came out of this Montebelluna factory, which of course happened 20 years ago, and the Nike Air GX, for those that care, was actually the last boot in that particular lineage before Nike introduced the original Mercurial, which obviously was very significant to the Nike brand, probably historically one of the most important shoes ever. So given that that 20th anniversary is coming up as well, I wouldn't be surprised if we get some kind of limited Mercurial remake down the line as well. Anyways, this of course is the Nike GX. You guys saw the picture of the original, and this does a pretty good job of looking similar to that, especially in regards to the colorway. Obviously, big differences that you're gonna notice is the sole plate and stud pattern, which is just straight up taken from the current Hypervenom Phantom 3. This is of course mimicking the low cut variation, so it's got the same cut and heel construction as a Phantom 3 low, and of course incorporates the Flyknit through the middle where the tongue would normally be, and the Flywire cable. So it doesn't have the big flap tongue like you would have had on the original Nike Air GX. The upper is, instead of Flyknit, kangaroo leather, and of course has these little embossed lines mimicking the stitching within the shoe, which looks pretty cool. It's got that little Nike swoosh embroidered right here at the bottom of the lacing system, just like the original. The blue streaks running through the middle with the white Nike swoosh on either side, smaller one on the medial side, as you guys can see. I don't care for the fact that they just left the Hypervenom branding there. I think they probably should have etched that off or something. That would have been really nice, but they did of course incorporate the Italian flag here, being that these are made in Italy, by the way. You of course have that logo there in the back, as I've pointed out, and this little leather symbol with the number 20 in the middle etched into the leather, of course signifying the 20th anniversary. And then the insole also features that exact same logo, if you were wondering, and is otherwise just a regular Phantom 3 insole. No changes there whatsoever. Overall though, I have to say it's a pretty cool looking shoe in general. Very, very unique look. Modern, but at the same time kind of has that old school vibe to it, with the design incorporated from that original Nike GX. I think they look really cool, but I'd be curious to hear your opinions down below in the comment section. Just a quick note in regards to the colorway. This of course is the only version that released to the public in terms of regular stores getting them, but you can actually get it in two different color variations, one that's red and one that's all black, basically swapping out the blue, and that is through the Nike ID service, where it's still the regular $300. They don't charge you a premium. Plus, this is a version of the shoe that only came out in firm ground, the blue version, but if you go through Nike ID, you can get them in either red or black, in firm ground, soft ground pro, or AG Pro, which is nice and definitely a little bit more limited if you want to go that route or if you just like a different color. So if you're interested in those, again, first link down below, the review page on my website will have buy it now links for that. As far as performance is concerned, while this is based off of a Phantom 3 Low, it doesn't really feel that much like a Phantom 3 Low in regards to the upper mostly. The upper is not made from Flyknit. It does not have a Flyknit base like we've seen with TechCraft releases from Nike in the past, which I think a lot of people would anticipate this kind of being the same thing. Instead, you get a very, very thin kangaroo leather and the incorporation of Flywire cables, which reminded me a lot of this guy right here, the Nike Tiempo Legend 4 Elite, which is the first shoe ever to incorporate kangaroo leather and Flywire cables, which awesome shoe, very cool looking. Honestly, not the best in my opinion. Looking back, given the choice, I would have actually preferred to wear the regular Legend 4 over the Elite variation, but this implementation of kangaroo leather and Flywire actually works quite well because it's basically the same system found on the Hypervenom Phantom 3 at the moment. So you have a thin layer of kangaroo leather and then those Flywire cables right on the underside and of course in between the liner on the inside of the shoe, acting as your kind of fastening system when you tie the laces tight, really securing the midfoot and forefoot in place. There is still going to be some stretch to the leather, and as far as the leather itself is concerned, it's very soft, it's very, very flexible, but it's also extremely thin. So in terms of touch on the ball, I would actually say it's more along the lines of a barefoot feel rather than a padded leather touch, which I think is what a lot of people wouldn't necessarily expect. So in terms of differences in touch on the ball, when compared to something like a Mercurial, I would say this actually compares to a Mercurial pretty decently. The big difference is going to be just how the material feels on your foot. Because it's leather, it's softer, it's more flexible, and it does have that slight amount of padding to it. It's not a true barefoot sensation, but it's also not nearly as padded as something like a Nike Tiempo Legend 7, which I think a lot of people would want to compare this to. If you're asking my opinion, if you do want a leather shoe from Nike, I think the Legend 7 is better in my opinion. But if you want a leather shoe that's also very thin and also kind of more unique than a Legend 7, this definitely may be something to consider if you're willing to spend the $300. You're gonna find this little blue strip on either side, which does appear to be made from some kind of a knitted base material. And there is actually a segmentation where the leather ends, the synthetic starts, and then of course the leather starts again, but that's kind of more so in areas of the foot. They're not gonna be making too much contact with the ball. You could argue you're gonna feel that in the midfoot, which you do to a certain extent, but for the most part, there's enough leather here to where it does have that predominant leather feel on foot, which is nice. The Flyknit through the middle, I think works quite well. It gives it a nice seamless design, kind of a one-piece construction, and pretty much everything else is just straight up off of a Phantom 3 Low. Low-cut construction, internal heel counter. You guys saw the insole. It's got the same synthetic leather liner, and the sole plate and stud pattern is just straight up Phantom 3. Nothing has changed there whatsoever, and it works really well on this particular shoe and does impact the shape where the overall fit, I would say, it's pretty much identical to that of the Phantom 3 Low, which is not a bad thing at all. If you're wondering about the weight, I thought it was really funny that in the press release, Nike mentioned that this version of the Nike GX is 35% lighter than the original, which this has pretty much nothing to do with the original shoe other than a couple of styling elements. But in comparison to the Phantom 3 Low, which I think is a much better comparison, in a size 9 US, these guys weigh in at 6.95 ounces, so right at that 7-ounce mark. Very, very light. And for comparison's sake, the full Flyknit regular version of the Phantom 3 Low weighs in at 6.75 ounces, so 0.2 ounces less, which I would say is a fairly insignificant amount of weight. The weight is not going to be the noticeable difference. The noticeable difference is going to be the fact that this upper is leather and the upper on the regular Phantom 3 is Flyknit. So as you can see, I swapped out the stock black laces for some royal blue reflective SR4U replacement laces, which matches the blue in the tongue area of the upper pretty much perfectly, which I think just looks a little bit better, a little bit cleaner on this particular design. I know it's not how the original one was, but it doesn't have the fold over flap tongue either. Anyways, if you are interested in a pair of SR4U replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen, as well as a link down below in the description. On feet, the Nike GX is a very comfortable shoe. Like I mentioned earlier, because it is based off the Hypervenom Phantom 3, specifically the low-cut variation, the general shape and feel in the heel area is pretty much the same as a Hypervenom Phantom 3 Low, so you kind of know what to expect if you're buying this particular one-off limited edition shoe. The leather upper feels soft, it's flexible, and of course, it's quality leather, so it's gonna soften up and even stretch a little bit as you wear them in. But keep in mind that because you have the Flywire cables working with the lacing system, you're not gonna get too much stretch through the midfoot and forefoot area. The majority of the stretch is going to be in the toe box, which is not uncommon for pretty much any leather shoe. Again, it's gonna offer a soft feel on foot, but it's not necessarily gonna offer a padded touch. The leather material itself is very, very thin. Anyways though, they're very comfortable out of the box, and I don't really foresee any major issues with the break-in process whatsoever. As far as the width is concerned, I'd say it's about the same as a regular Hypervenom Phantom 3 Low. They'll fit most people. It does have a snug fit overall. They're definitely not as wide as what you're gonna find from the Tiempo line, but it has that kind of modern snug fit with the classic material and of course the Flywire cables. So as long as you don't have super, super wide feet, you shouldn't have too many issues with the width of this particular shoe. And as far as the sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and fit and the length is pretty much perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would definitely recommend going true to size. The sizing is exactly the same as any other Hypervenom. So to sum up the Nike GX, it's an interesting shoe in that it is kind of a one-off modified version of the Hypervenom Phantom 3. It's limited edition, and obviously that makes people think that they shouldn't wear them because they're hurting the value of the shoe. But given that this wasn't a super limited release, they're not individually numbered, and they really haven't even sold out after a week of being on the market, I really don't think that you're hurting the value of the shoe by wearing them. In fact, I think that if you're not a collector and you just want to wear the shoes, wear them. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. It's a wearable product, an interesting variation of the Phantom 3. In my opinion, not the best leather boot on offer from Nike, but if you wanted something that is a thin leather upper with the Phantom 3 feature set, I think this is a really, really solid option for you if you can justify the $300 price tag. Anyways guys, that is it for my review. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can click the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupons, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. If you have any questions for me, as always, leave them down below in the comment section. I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.